When Dr. Ryan gently unwrapped the bandage from her shoulder, he never imagined her fingers would twitch. What happened next shocked the entire hospital. A young doctor, silent patient, and a secret that would change both their lives forever. Let's dip in. The entire hospital whispered her name. Isabella Hartman, the 30-year-old millionaire heiress whose face once graced magazine covers and business headlines. She had it all: beauty, power, and a fashion empire worth billions. But 6 months ago, tragedy struck. Her private jet had gone down in a storm over the mountains, leaving her the sole survivor, barely. She'd been airlifted to the city's top hospital in critical condition, clinging to life by a thread. Since then, Isabella had lain in a deep coma, surrounded by machines that beeped, tubes that kept her breathing, and a rotating team of top specialists. The media lost interest. Her so-called friends moved on. Even her family visited less and less. But Dr. Ryan Cole, just 28 years old, never missed a day. Fresh out of residency, Ryan wasn't like the other doctors. He didn't come for money, and he didn't care about fame. He had chosen medicine to heal, not to climb hospital ranks or chase headlines. When he was assigned to the ICU, Isabella became his patient. To everyone else, she was a lost cause, a silent room number. But to Ryan, she was still alive, and she deserved to be treated like it. Every morning and night, he gently checked her vitals, monitored her charts, and carefully changed her bandages. But more than that, he talked to her about the weather, about his day, about the world outside. He told her stories, played soft music, and spoke her name like she was listening. People said it was pointless. Nurses rolled their eyes. But Ryan never stopped. Deep down, he believed that somewhere inside that silence, Isabella could still hear him, and he had no idea how right he was. It was a quiet, rainy afternoon when Dr. Ryan Cole walked into Isabella's room, just like he had done every day for the past 6 months. The soft hum of machines filled the air, and the gray sky outside the window cast a gentle light over the hospital bed where she lay motionless, as always. The nurses barely looked up anymore when Ryan entered. They had become familiar with his almost ritual-like routine, how he would always pause at the door for a moment, take a deep breath, and greet her like she could hear him. They even teased him sometimes. "Careful, doctor," one would joke. "You treat her like a porcelain doll." But today was different. Ryan approached the bed, gently pulling back the blanket. As he carefully began to change the bandage near Isabella's shoulder, his hands moved with their usual precision. But then, he froze. Her right hand twitched. It was barely noticeable, just a flick of the fingers. At first, he brushed it off as a reflex. Coma patients sometimes showed random muscle spasms. But just as he leaned in again, he saw it. Her eyelids fluttered. His heart skipped. "Isabella," he whispered, barely breathing. He leaned closer. The room was still, heavy with anticipation. And then, her lips moved. No sound came out. But there was no doubt now. She was responding. In seconds, Ryan hit the emergency button. Alarms echoed through the ICU. Nurses rushed in. Senior doctors followed, their expressions transforming from disbelief to urgent focus. Machines began to spike and beep faster. Word spread quickly across the hospital. Isabella Hartman was waking up. And for Ryan, this moment felt like something more than medical. It felt like a miracle. 3 hours after the chaos had erupted in the ICU, the once silent room now pulsed with quiet awe. Isabella Hartman, the woman the world had written off, was fully conscious. Her eyes were open, slowly scanning the unfamiliar environment. Monitors beeped steadily beside her. The haze of medication and months of stillness clung to her like a fog. But her gaze was sharp, alert, alive. Doctors surrounded her bed, murmuring medical terms and shining lights in her eyes. Nurses moved swiftly, adjusting IVs and noting vitals. But Isabella didn't seem to care about any of it. Her eyes searched the room for one face. And when she saw Ryan, standing quietly in the corner with his arms folded and hope burning in his eyes, she whispered, weak but clear, "Have you been the one taking care of me?" Ryan stepped forward slowly, heart thudding in his chest. "Every day," he said with a soft smile. "I never missed a shift." Tears glistened in Isabella's eyes, trickling down her cheeks. Her voice trembled. I heard you. The stories you told, the music you played. You made me want to come back. I remember it all." Everyone in the room went still. Ryan was speechless. In all his medical training, he had learned about comas, about neural pathways and recovery rates. But nothing could have prepared him for this. A patient not only waking up but remembering everything he'd said, felt, hoped. And then, in a twist no one saw coming, Isabella turned her head slightly and said with sudden clarity, "I don't want to speak to anyone else. Only him." Shock rippled through the medical team. The millionaire patient, alive again, had chosen the humble young doctor as her lifeline. And for Ryan, the weight of that moment hit like thunder. As Isabella recovered, the hospital administration began to pressure Ryan to step away from her case. "It's too personal now," they warned. But Isabella insisted. Ryan stays. She even hired private security to limit access to her room. Media outlets camped outside, desperate for any details. Rumors flew. Was there something more between them? But Ryan stayed professional, until one night, Isabella shared a heartbreaking secret. "I wasn't supposed to be on that jet," she said. "My fiancé changed the flight at the last moment. I think he tried to get rid of me." Ryan's jaw dropped. Was this just trauma speaking? Or had Isabella narrowly escaped something much darker? Weeks passed. Isabella's strength returned. She held a press conference, thanking the hospital, but most of all, Dr. Ryan Cole. In a dramatic twist, Isabella's legal team launched a private investigation into the crash. And yes, her ex-fiancé was found guilty of corporate fraud and evidence tampering. The world watched as the heiress stood strong again. But beside her wasn't a billionaire, a CEO, or a politician. It was Dr. Ryan Cole, the young doctor who'd never seen her as a headline. In the final scene of this real-life fairy tale, Isabella announced the launch of a medical charity in Ryan's name, helping underprivileged patients across the country. As for them, months later, a photo emerged. Isabella and Ryan, hand in hand, smiling on a quiet beach. And the caption read, "Sometimes a gentle touch is all it takes to wake someone up, heart and soul." If you love this story of unexpected miracles and real compassion, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Because sometimes the most powerful healing doesn't come from medicine. It comes from human connection.